Good morning, welcome to CATEX TV. My name is Frank Fortunato. Today is Monday, June 24th, 2013. Word from South Africa is that former President Nelson Mandela is gravely ill. The current South African president has urged citizens to pray for him. The doctors are supposedly making him comfortable. This is the first time official releases of information no longer have optimism in the release, so this probably is very, very serious. Shares of Bermuda Validus Holdings, one of the big reinsurance companies, took a big hit on Friday. They went down about 4%. This is after a credit note came out from Credit Suisse in which they said that Validus's operations are going to be very negatively impacted by cat bonds. Validus spokespeople told Bloomberg News Validus has in fact previously acknowledged the competition from third-party capital, but continues to assert that we are among a very select group of companies that has the skill set and existing platforms to adapt and thrive in the changing reinsurance market. Now, this is very interesting because now we have operating reinsurance companies that are quite successful and being run in this case by top executives, Ed Noonan, Keene Driscoll, to mention just a few, who are now being savaged by credit analysts who are scratching their heads pondering whether or not the cat bond market and insurance-linked securities are going to affect their performance. So they write a credit note and the stock price suffers. Here's what Michael Zaremski from Credit Suisse said in his note. He said fixed income investors have increased demand for cat bonds, which insurers like Travelers and American International Group use as an alternative for traditional reinsurance. These securities pay hundreds of basis points more than benchmark yields to investors who risk losing all of their principal to an insurance company if a costly enough natural disaster strikes. Well, the whole thing with this has been that hedge funds and other investors have been setting these entities up because they believe that the risk is non-correlated. That trend has led people such as Franklin Tad Montrose, who's the CEO of Gen Re, owned by Berkshire Hathaway, to say that these new sources of funds are relying too heavily on cat models in making pricing decisions. Montrose said the models have lent an aura of credibility to pricing. Anyone who's in the reinsurance industry knows that the models are always wrong. Directionally, they're helpful, but we're trying to price a risk today that we don't know the cost of. And frankly, as well, anybody who believes these risks are non-correlated needs to think again. If a massive Hurricane Andrew-type storm hits Florida, you can bet that the financial indexes all around the world are going to suffer as well. Here's a bit of a warning light. If you're thinking of investing in China with your company, you might want to listen to this story. An American executive said today he's been held hostage now for 4 days at his medical supply company in Beijing by scores of workers demanding severance packages. 42-year-old Chip Starnes, who's the co-owner of the Florida-based specialty medical supplies, said local officials had visited the 10-year-old plant on the outskirts of Beijing and coerced him into signing agreements on Saturday to meet the workers' demands, even though he made it clear that about 100 of these workers were not being laid off. The workers are expecting wire transfers by Tuesday. He said about 80 of them have been blocking every exit from his factory, depriving him of sleep, shining bright lights and banging on the windows of his office. He said, I feel like a trapped animal. I think it's inhumane what's going on right now. I've been in this area for over 10 years and created a lot of jobs. Police spokesmen are at the scene and said that they're there only to maintain order. Very interesting. Talk about a problem in investing. A colossal wildfire in southwestern Colorado is raging near popular tourist areas. It's doubled in size over the weekend. It's driven by high winds and dead trees in the area. The weather has prevented fire crews from making progress against the blaze. By last night, it was estimated to have consumed 114 square miles. The area is around the town of South Fork and the Wolf Creek ski area. No homes have been damaged yet. Meanwhile, 150,000 Pacific Gas and Electric customers in Central California's coast were without power yesterday. Apparently, a fire at a substation caused the outage. Santa Maria, which has about 100,000 residents, was the largest city affected. Power's all now back on. In Montenegro, which is near Syria, a bus plunged off a hillside road into a ravine carrying Romanian tourists. 18 of them were killed. The Romanian government is sending Air Force planes there today to bring back the bodies as well as to provide medical aid to those who were injured. And the monsoons continue to rage in India. Indian priests are now planning to cremate hundreds of flood victims. Heavy rain is halting the search for additional victims. Apparently as well, about 1,000 people are feared dead and more than 8,000 pilgrims and tourists are still awaiting rescue. Preparations are underway today for a mass cremation in the flood-ravaged holy town of Kedarnath, with rescue workers ordered to collect tons of firewood amid concerns of outbreak of disease from rotting bodies. Military helicopters have been grounded because of bad weather. That's the news for today. If we have any breaking news, we'll come back and tell you. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow. Pray for Nelson Mandela.